We are now less than 45 days from April Fool's Day. What long con pranks should be started around now? April Fool's Day has been moved to April 5th this year. Left square bracket. Don't know if you can pull this off, but it was of the funnier prank stories I heard on Click and Clack / Car Talk. Some guys worked with another guy who was obsessed with his car's gas mileage. So the coworker slowly started adding gas to his tank without the owner knowing it. Like they'd add 2 cups a day for a week. Then the next week, they'd add 3 cups a day, etc. Since the guy was so obsessed, he thought his car was getting better and better gas mileage and was bragging to everyone in the office. Then the guy slowly started to reverse the process. The guy freaked out. Everyone laughed. Oh man, I have 500 bouncy balls at home, I should start doing stuff with them. It's my birthday and I've never been pranked on April 1st. However, I did prank my 8th grade teacher and got into a lot of trouble. He was this annoying cool for his job type. Said he knew the police, banged not uniforms. Anyhow, he would always walk around and around the classroom pontificating on whatever, and when he'd pass by his desk he would always step in his trash can to crush the papers. SOOO. I filled the trash can 3/4 with water and topped it off with scrunched up paper. Worked beautifully and I spent the rest of the day on the hallway waiting to be told if I was suspended or not. Not really necessary to do in advance, but my favorite prank I ever did was to my GF at the time. I was pooping and called for her to bring me more toilet paper from the closet. When she stuck her arm through the door to hand it to me, I grazed her hand as I picked it up. I had put some melted chocolate on my fingers, which smeared on her hand. She went dead silent and just said, "What the duck is that?" My great grandpa got his kids to start cracking hard-boiled eggs on their foreheads. Then, on April 1st, he gave my great uncle a raw egg. Edit. Thanks for the silver. More or less long con, but I ordered a roll of 4 use only stickers and I plan on covering all my sister's belongings with them. In college, a bunch of students got together with local police and staged a murder crime scene in a professor's office. Fake blood, yellow crime tape, the police taking statements and questioning the professor on his whereabouts during the time of the killing. It took a lot of planning ahead of time. Totally got him. Was talked about for many years after. I put an ad on Craigslist in New York City looking for a wiki impersonation for a film I was making, but I listed my friend's phone number. In the instructions I wrote, "If I answer, just make the noise and hang up. I'll call you back if it's good enough. If you get my voicemail, follow the same procedure." Long story short, I forgot about it for 3 months, and one day I was out getting wings with him when he received a call. He slammed his phone down pissed. I asked what was wrong, and he proceeded to tell me about how he has been getting weird phone calls and people just making noises and hanging up. I couldn't stop laughing and finally let him know why, and he was not as amused. Edit. I did not come up with this joke. Sorry I did not make that clear. Something inspired me, but I can't remember what. It is still a good joke. The old penny trick. I did this to my mom and it drove her nuts. Day 1. You leave a penny in an obvious spot where you'd expect to find a penny and wait for them to find it. Day 2. Repeat. Put another penny somewhere else, but obvious. Let them find it. Repeat this off and on for roughly a week. After around a week, they should start to think about it more. Then start leaving them twice a day for the week. On week 3, start leaving them in odd spots that pennies shouldn't exist. Bathroom sink, windowsill, inside their shoes. Get creative. Pillows, inside their pockets, if you can manage it. After a while, if done right, it will drive them absolutely mad. I was questionable on its effectiveness when I first started it, but after week 2 my mom was freaking out because she kept finding them. Edit. Source for where I first heard of this. A while back I got an app that could send an error message to a computer with customized text. For a few weeks I would send sporadic messages like monitor error 1003, monitor cinch error, etc. On April Fool's Day I sent the message, monitor radiation shield has failed. Please step back 5 feet. Draw a large sock and balls on the school field with weed killer. If they play a lot of video games, slowly turn up or down. the sensitivity on their controllers until April 1st. Then turn it back suddenly. Eater, I'm getting a lot of nerds real riled up here. To which I say, jit good. I've been secretly learning Russian for the past few months. On April Fool's Day I'm just going to speak Russian. Edit. A lot of people have asked what I used to learn Russian. I used Babbel. I tried Duolingo out for a bit, but it doesn't teach you any grammar or anything. Just a bunch of phrases. The part that was hardest for me was learning the Cyrillic alphabet, so what I did was I went to the Russian Wikipedia page for Oscar winners and transliterated the names back to the Latin alphabet. Really fun to see how they spell names like Robert De Niro. And it helped me learn the pronunciation by seeing the letters in words I was already familiar with. Leave an old keyboard on your desk with the wire pushed down behind your desk. If anyone asks, tell them it wasn't working, so you had yours replaced, but that support will be by to pick it up. On April 1st, plug it into the computer in the cube beside you. When your coworker arrives, do random things. Hold down the shift key while they type in their password. Lock their screen if they look away for just a moment. Hit caps lock while they are typing an email. I managed to do this to a coworker for 4 days before he started losing his ship and pulled out all the wires from his PC except power and network. It was hysterical. Assess your diet, get exercising, drink more water, and on the 31st of March go on a shopping spree. Then on the 1st of April get dressed, look stunning, feel better. Everyone will be surprised. You'll get compliments, and you can take it as the first day of the rest of your life. Best prank ever. The one I have planned for this year is to get a bunch of TV remotes that are the same as the ones my family has, and on April 1st put them all around the living room and hide the actual remote. Edit. Apparently I don't know how TV remotes work, but it could still be pretty funny to have a bunch with no batteries as they try and wonder why there's so many remotes. Bring in donuts, cream and jelly filled consistently, once to twice a week. On April Fool's Day, make sure it's filled with creamed/jellied vegetables. They could have done a 2-year-long con with Brexit if they'd timed it better. This happened last year, months leading up to April Fools. A coworker would send us all photos or just show us photos of his stick with a fake cockroach on it. He was called into ours, but it was a he said, she said. 6+ months in the past, and no evidence showing the actual picture/text. I figured I would order hundreds of fake cockroaches and stash them around his workspace for the coming months. Those following months were hilarious. He never suspected me. He never caught me. But I also gave a ton to other coworkers. Finally, one day he was venting to me about how frustrated he was finding them in his car, in his CNC machine, within his toolbox, falling from his lunchbox, and flying off his windshield when he turned on his wipers, that I turned red and just started laughing so hard I was crying. I'll never forget that look from him. All those months of him not knowing and complaining to me. Joke's on me though, I spent like $50 on fake cockroaches. Slowly move your friend's desk 1 inch a day or every other day. Fake a coma. You can stop faking it on April Fools and tell everybody about your prank. This is more of a day of situation, but it's too good not to share. At my work we clock in by punching in our employee number. Last year one of my coworkers placed a sign on the time clock that read the time clock has been updated for voice activation. Please state your full name followed by clocking in/out. All day I just heard people yelling at the time clock trying to clock in. It was incredible. My manager was in on it too, so no one was made late because of it. Just good clean fun. Start buying different light bulbs for every light in your house. If you've got soft light, buy the sunlight bulbs. If you've got the sunlight bulbs, go with the soft light bulbs. Install all of them overnight going into April Fool's Day. Act like nothing has changed. For bonus points, continue swapping them once every few days and see how long you can keep it going. I found out I was pregnant on March 31st about 3 years ago. My now husband sent me the when she's still pregnant on April 2nd meme. My roommate would get up and steal the shower as soon as he heard my alarm go off. 6 weeks later, I had him waking up to shower at 4:30. I would just turn off my Pavlovian alarm and go back to sleep for another 3 hours waiting for the real alarm. Start learning a foreign language. On April Fool's Day, pass out and wake up only speaking said language. The nameplates at my office job have paper inserts with the cube dweller's name. I'm going to print out a bunch of one person's name in smaller fonts, like increments of 0.25. I'm going to start replacing with smaller fonts each day starting March 1st. I know it's not super crazy, but should be fun. My wife and son teamed up on me for this one a couple years ago. Drove me nuts. For weeks leading up to April 1st, one or the other would report that there was a leak in our bathroom. I'm the default handyman, so I check it out and sure enough, there'd be a mysterious puddle of water on the floor. Check the walls. Ceiling. No moisture. Check the tub. The shower. No drips. Kept happening week after week. And I could not figure out what the hell was going on. April 1st comes. Kid comes in and says, I figured it out. I found the leak. I follow him to the bathroom where he proudly points to one of these on the floor. Start putting more and more caffeinated coffee in the coffee maker at work. If it's dark roast, switch it to a blend of dark/medium. Work your way to medium. Then up to a light roast. If you want to go a little nuts with it, get some Death Wish coffee and put a small amount of that in. By March 31st, get everyone in the office used to a nice caffeine jag on some high octane brew. April 1st, decaf. Edit. Since no fewer than 20 of you have pointed out this is not a good idea, let me be the 21st. Don't actually do this, even though it would be awesome. Slowly shaving off fragments of a walking stick to make someone think that they're growing. We spent 2 months in Europe 2 summers ago and rented out the house on Airbnb to cover expenses while gone. One of the renters was a film crew that shot a documentary about a local psychopath who killed a few people. The producers needed a home setting where they could interview witnesses and people who knew the guy or victims. There are plenty of interviews of people describing the murders and how evil this person was that clearly show our living room, guest room and kitchen in the background. My wife was not involved in managing the Airbnb listing, so while I mentioned the film crew to her 2 years ago, she never asked what it was about, and I'm sure she has absolutely no idea that this footage exists. I plan on just casually coming across the documentary on April 1st and watch it with her to see her reaction. Bring hand moisturizer to work and leave it somewhere like the break room. Conspicuously use it and convince as many other people to use it as possible. On April 1st, replace it with a bottle filled with water-based lube. Apex Legends needs to turn on full damage for the day. When I was in high school, I brought a bag of garlic flavored jelly beans to school to prank my friends on April Fools. Instead, a classmate grabbed them out of my bag during group work. It was a school with under 100 students, so everyone knew I brought extra treats, and I hear some odd shouting from across the room. Said classmates then handed them off to our teacher to try, without saying why, and I unintentionally pranked my entire year. So I recommend putting out candy on your desk, and if refill it with shocking flavors. Jelly Belly has oodles of odd and uncomfortable flavors. Here's how I convinced a friend his house was haunted. Rain-X is the stuff you put on your windshield to keep it from fogging up. Instead, use it to write on your friend's bathroom mirror various haunting phrases. They go into the bathroom, lock the door, get in the shower, and come out to find someone has seemingly written on their bathroom mirror while they thought they were alone. Get out. Help me. Something more personal, or whatever you like. Every time you want to change the message, just use some dish soap and then glass cleaner. Same as I do the rest of the year. Turn up at work and try to convince people I'm competent and hardworking. It's going to be hilarious when they eventually find out I'm neither. Might not be one you can start now, but if you have long hair and you wear glasses, get most or all of your hair cut off and switch to contacts. Then just pretend you're someone else for a day or so. Would work even better if you have a beard. Edit. Wow, only a few hours in and this is already the most upvoted thing on my account. All for something I did in 6th grade when I first got contacts. Edit 2. Reworded so it didn't seem like I had a beard in 6th grade. I started dating my now wife 20 years ago this April 1st. I'm almost ready to say April Fools.